Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to Ladies Night. And hi everyone. Welcome to Ladies Night. We are here to discuss our topic of we're here to discuss our topic of the expenses of raising a child in the first year of life. Um, I want to thank everyone for coming. Our strong people, Manuel Briggs, Slim Duncan, Hassan Burton, of course, Belle Mort, Nikki, Kaya Grace. Thank you all for joining us for Ladies Night.
Hey, Dame.
Hi, Bill. Okay. This topic came about because of a discussion of child support. Um, um, there seemed to be unestimated idea of how much is used, how much money it takes to raise a child, especially the first year of life. You know, and Belle had helped us do a breakdown of how much it costs um, for a child for the first year of life. Now, done everything from formula, baby food, some clothing, diapers, the biggies, and some big items like the stroller and the car seats, especially the convertible car seat, because you want the car seat to go as the child grow, and medicines and laundry detergent, all that a child needs. Now, there's all more stuff involved, bottles and stuff like that, but we didn't really concentrate on that because um, usually a mother, especially a first time mother, gets a baby shower and stuff like bottles. She usually gets in the baby shower if she's fortunate to get a baby shower. Um, but we have um, some young people that became mothers for the first time, and sometimes they were on their own. But for the most part, a lot of women first child baby shower, no matter what. But as for the day-to-day care of taking care of a child, like the first few months from for cans of formula. That is if you're lucky and it's just basic formula. This is the least expensive formula that we went through. Estimated about 4 to 5 cans monthly from birth to 4 months.
Hey, Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to share your screen so that to give a
Yeah, yeah.
visual
Let
aid?
me let me share my screen so they can see. Okay. All right. Share screen. All right. Okay. Yeah. There it is. All right. Let me scroll up so y'all can see. Can y'all see it? Give me a one in the chat if y'all can see my screen.
I'm not seeing it show up on YouTube.
Oh, okay, let me see. See what's going on. Okay, wait. I think I know what to
Now I
do.
can see it. Now I can see it.
Okay. All right. All right.
So do you want me to explain actually what I did and give actually detail?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this did come from a conversation that we were having, and it stemmed from guys complaining about child support, of course, and we say it takes more than what usually this guy is paying, you know, um, on a monthly basis to feed and clothe and everything this child, and this is just first year expenses. What I did is just went on like Walmart site, found name brand items, but the least expensive ones, and broke it down by different categories. So, like if you guys can see the screen, we started with formula, and these are 12.5 ounce cans, those round cans. And so I went on the online and went through forums and stuff, and people asked this question: "Oh, how much formula do you guys use a month? How many cans do you guys use?" And a lot of people said about the same thing. So we decided on about 4 to 5 cans a month from birth to 4 months. So that's 20 cans from birth to 4 months. The least expensive cans were around $17. So for that 4 months, that's over $300 right there. 8 to 9 cans, the 5 to 8 months, 36 cans total, around $600, and so on and so forth. So if you think about right there, that's over $1,500 just for the year, and just for formula. And a lot of these guys are paying maybe $100 a month. I've heard as low as $65 a month. So they really don't understand the expenses, especially if they don't have the child full time. And then we went to baby food. So not only the formula, but around 4 to 6 months, kids start eating jar food and cereals, maybe sometimes even before that. Um, and we calculated for the cereal and the jar food. It comes around 200 and some dollars for the year, maybe. Clothing, I just went and got the averages of what I found on the site. We would say maybe 2 to 3 new outfits a month, maybe 2 packages of maybe 6 socks. We'll say maybe every 3 months, because our kids lose socks, they kick them off places. So you're gonna be buying socks like that. And if you want to buy shoes, maybe twice a year for that first year. Because a lot of times they just don't wear shoes. So that clothing for the first year, I was. This is not saying that you're not getting stuff at baby showers. Other people are getting you stuff. So I just say, after the baby shower, this is what expenses might occur. And this is in no way in totality what you would have as expenses, but it's just a rough estimate. So 200, maybe like 300 and some dollars for the year. And diapers, I did them actually by sizes, and I also found that on forums and just on different websites, just what children, how many diapers babies went through per day. And so I did that day, how many per day, times um, how many days in a month. I just use like 30 days. And I found like the different prices for these sizes of diapers, and figured out how many of those packs you would need, and just total that up. So over $1,000 already right there for just diapers for the year. And this is like after, if you get a lot of the baby shower, then you might be good. But this is like just an estimate, like I said. So, and then we went to stroller. I found the ones with the best rating, but the lowest cost. And the cheapest one I found was $55. And it was some that went up to $300. And who knows what you might need to get. A car seat. You're gonna need something besides that one you're giving at the hospital or the one you get new at the baby shower because they grow. So best rating, but the lowest cost, $79 for that. And then different incidentals, baby medicine, laundry detergent, all of that stuff too. And I calculated that annually, just an estimate. Usually you buy the baby laundry detergent because all that other stuff is too harsh on the child's skin. And also, I wanted to say though, I didn't even get the most expensive diapers. And in some cases, some babies like my daughter couldn't wear certain diapers. And I had to get the more pricey diapers because she would break out. And I know a lot of other moms have experienced that. But basically, when we got to the end, I came up with a low estimate, and this is on the low end of just that first year, just in baby expenses, over $3,000. So I didn't want to spend too long on that, but just can you imagine somebody paying $65 a month for a child, and you got $3,000 in expenses? And that's not even calculating in, rent or mortgage, whatever you have, utilities, gas, car payment, or, whatever repairs you need to do. It's a lot of things that moms have to take care of on their own. And if you're a single mom and you're not getting any support, it's really going to be hard on you. And I really just don't think they realize this or just don't care. And it's sickening just hearing somebody complain about like $100 or $25 a week or something in child support, and we have all these expenses. It's like, please sit down, shut up. Take several seats, please. But, I'm not trying to steal the show. Dame, what else do you have to say about it? What do you have to add?
Yes, and this is, as several people said in the chat, this is kind of on the low end.
Yeah, it is.
People's children use more stuff.
Well, that was the reason. That was the reason I did that. That makes even more of an impact because if this is going low, think about if you have further expenses or you have to get special things for your child. That's why I use the lowest. So in the this is the best case scenario. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't turn out like this all the time. It's usually the expenses are more. You get, you maybe your child might have to get a special medicine. I think that's all in there, like Pedialyte. Your child gets a fever or something and they get dehydrated, or you need to get different kind of medicine. Maybe your child's allergic to a certain medicine. You don't know what's going to occur with a child. And especially, for that first one, you tend to, err on the side of caution. So you're not going to get them old cheapo stuff. You're going to get your baby the best thing. So I just wanted to create that because it was just interesting to me just to see, because I haven't had a baby in over 20 years. But I know it was expensive back then. So, and this, think about the Pampers and these prices. This is not accounting for inflation or scarcity of items due to, hey, let's say lockdown, pandemic. You don't know when prices are going to soar. So you really can't calculate it accurately. But like I said, this is just an estimate, and it is a low estimate. So go ahead.
Yeah. So when you come crying and then we find out you just paying $65 a month, or $65 a month, $100 a month, you're not going to get no sympathy because this is how much the child needs at the least. At the least, And
let me jump in there real quick, if you don't mind. Go ahead. When you break all of this down, the main issue that these guys are saying is that they're paying these child support payments and they don't see the money going on the child. The mother is spending the money. So if a guy is paying, let's say, $150 a month for child support, I mean, how realistic, given this information right here, how realistic is it that the mother is spending money on herself?
You know what? If she is spending it on herself, it's because she already paid everything, and that little funky ass $100 ain't nothing. She'd be like, I might as well use this to get my hair done. You know what I'm saying? Because that $100 is small in comparison to just monthly expenses.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? That's nothing. How do they know this is what she's doing? I mean, that child's still alive. That child ain't malnourished. The child is in nice clothes, and things like that.
Well, this is what they try to say. They try to say, well, they're making their child support payments, however slight those payments may be. They should see something on the child that reflects them making their child support payment.
They ain't gonna see nothing that reflect that because their child support payments be so low. Only thing they can know is that the child is still alive and healthy, because they $65 or $100 don't make a dent in expenses. That's just the long and short of it. I mean, what else can you say?
So listen, ladies, clear this up once and for all, right? Some of these guys think that child support works like this. Whatever the mother wants, that's what they're going to give the mother. So if the mother wants $10,000 a month, that's what she's going to get awarded. Now, does it work like that, or does it work like whatever the guy's working or what he can afford? How does it really work?
It goes by the bulk of the state goes by the percentage of his income. Whatever he makes, like I was seeing 25.6% on 1100. Let me see if I can get into there. Let me hold on. Let me stop this.
Well, just basically it goes by, they consider your income. Don't they consider the incomes of both parents and calculate it somehow? I don't know, because I haven't received child support and never tried to go get any. So I know it's based on income. They just don't, say everybody's going to pay an equal amount. I know that much.
The average child support payment, right? They looked it up, right? I think in New York, I think they're paying something like $60 a week, and some even less than that. It's like $80 or $90-some a month. Okay, let's just give him some credit here. Okay, let's just say he's paying $200 a month. Okay, again, how realistic is it for him to see something on his child that makes him think that his money is going towards the child?
If he see that child, I'm echoing here. Somebody got it on.
Should the child have like a designer rattle or I mean, like what should he see on the child that says, hey, my $200 is being spent on the kid
some damn
and not her?
The Pampers. Oh. Yeah.
And
I think it's sad that that card didn't even factor in outside expenses like daycare and things like that. So we didn't even add that up. This is just, in the household what the child would need. And like I said, that didn't even factor in, the stuff that still, supports the child as well. Utilities, rent, daycare expenses, stuff like that. So it's a lot more. That's just, things that the child needs personally. Let me ask you this. Is it really about the child, or is it about how they feel towards the baby mother? Because if they see the mother with her hair done, or she's got a 2-piece and a biscuit from Popeyes, she's spending the money on herself and not on the child.
ain't even no money to even quibble over. Like $60 a week, really?
And you know what? And that's I think in New York, I would think the North would be more, right? And the South would be less, but the North is actually less. A lot of them guys ain't even paying that. Some of them are paying like for $50 a month, $40 $50 a week or $40 a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know what a mother is supposed to do with a newborn, and the child support check is coming in at a whopping $80 a month.
Well, she's responsible for covering the rest of the expenses somehow.
Right. So what you guys just showed me is this: just on the formula, that $80 is gone. Okay. So I don't know what is supposed to be shown when you're only paying $80 a month. And these guys will stand by that, right? They will sit up here and they will argue that and not feel embarrassed about it. You know, they don't feel like they don't feel like a loser arguing about $80 a month, talking about the mother is out clubbing. Okay, she's out buying fried chicken and getting her hair done with the child support money.
Okay, he's paying too much attention to the child's mother and not to the child.
Well, they're looking at the child. They're saying, okay, well, I don't see my child with a brand new shirt or a bib or a rattle made by Rolls Royce or something like that. So the mother must be taking the money and spending it.
I'll tell them, if you want to see that shit, you better buy it your damn self. You better make business.
I'm just saying, I mean, Rolls Royce don't make battles, but I'm just saying, you know, they want to see something significant on the child so they can say, okay, well, I feel good about spending my money. But see, I don't know how you feel good about only paying $80 or $100 a month.
They don't even spend enough money to dictate what childhood and shit I have. That's the thing. You can't tell somebody what to spend for funky ass $60 on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if she has more than one child? Now, how does the child support payment work then? Do they take one payment and split it up between the children, or do she get a check for each child?
From what I understand, if it's with the same mother, it goes up a little bit and it's split between the children.
Yep.
Because what you're saying, if she got three kids by the same guy, and he's paying $100 a month, so that $100 is split between those three kids.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. That's insane.
Mm-hmm. It is.
How do y'all do that? How do y'all put up with that? I couldn't even. How do you do that?
You find a way.
You find a way. Most time it is family and friends helping out. Usually it's family. Family is helping you out more than anyone.
Yeah, I mean, or like I said, you end up getting public assistance. I don't know if it's still the same way, but I remember my mom having to do that when her and my dad split up, and he claims that, okay, well, they're taking $300 out of my check every week, but since she was getting a public assistance, when the child support payment got to her for 3 kids, it was only like $50. So we didn't, we had the, health care or whatever, and you go to the dentist and all that stuff. And my mom was able to get food stamps.
Mm-hmm.
But what other stuff could you get if you only get like $50? So, she had to do the rest herself, work and, do little side jobs, clean houses, whatever. You just find a way. And we didn't have family around helping. So she just did it herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And my mom had some help, but pretty much done it herself.
Let me ask this, right? Let me ask this. So what about his insurance? If he has a job, okay, most of these jobs have insurance, stuff like that. So she doesn't have access to his insurance for his own children.
Well,
in some cases he does. He does for his children. His children is going to be on his insurance.
Well, that too is a lot of different things to that as well, though, because it depends too whether you were married and stuff like that too, and if the child is determined to be his, because it's not automatically, it's like, okay, well, you're the daddy, they got to be on your insurance. I think a lot of those different stipulations come through like divorce proceedings and stuff like that, to say that, okay, well, you have to pay for the child's this and you have to be on the insurance. I don't know how it works in every state, but I know a lot of times that's the case. So I think it's a little harder to get that stuff to go through like that if you weren't ever married, or if he's just sitting there, oh, this is not my child, and trying to deny, and you find out it is. I don't know about the insurance part, but
I think it depends on if his name is on the birth certificate. I know that makes a significant difference. So if they having a dispute, whether the child is his, until that's settled and his name is on the birth certificate, he don't necessarily have to. But once, depending on the state, I know in Seattle, well, I'm not certain if it was necessary for him, but he claimed the child. His name is on the birth certificate. He definitely knows the child is his, and he put her on his insurance. Because I remember they had to get something straightened out because her mom moved to another state and the state wasn't recognizing his insurance right away. There was some kind of little mix up or problem or something like that. And they had to get it straightened out. And he's like, no, she's on my insurance. Why are you not using my insurance card? Why are you using yours? And stuff like that. She's on my insurance. Use it. That's what I pay for it for. Because she found out the hard way. Her insurance.
Okay, so I have a question here. Okay, so if you manage to get, let's just bump it. See, I'm trying to give these guys some kind of credit. Let's bump it up to $150. Okay, a buck $50 a month. That's horrible, but it's better than $80 a month. So, which is an absolute disgrace. Well, a $1.50 is a disgrace too, but it's less of a disgrace. But anyway, let's just say he's doing $1.50, right? How damaging or how frustrating or how much of a setback it is when the child support check is either late or doesn't come, especially when it's that low.
What was that?
If he's paying $150 a month, and the child support is late or doesn't come, how big of a difference does it make?
How big of a difference does it make? What, to the expenses of the parent?
Right, because if he's only paying $1.50 a month, and he can barely do that, so let's just say 1 month the child support check doesn't show up. I mean, is it really going to make that much of a difference because he's barely paying the $150 anyway? Well, I guess every little bit helps, right?
Yeah, every little bit helps.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that might mean that, say, if he's paying $100, maybe a light bill might be late or something like that, or something that's less expensive. You might not be able to. I mean, there's something that's not essential. You might not be able to get, or you might have to skimp on something or go cheapo on something if you don't get that amount. I mean, you just learn to kind of deal with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's paying $150 a month, right? $100 a month. He goes out one night after work, go to the local club with his boys. He sees his baby mama in there having a good time. Does he have a right to step to her about his child not getting what he thinks his child should get because he's paying $150 a month and he see her in the club?
What? What'd you say?
You hear me, Belle?
It's a lot of feedback and echoing.
Okay, he's saying if the 150 guy goes out with his dudes and he sees his baby mama in there having fun, does he have a right to step up to her about what she's doing with his $150?
How does he know what she's doing with his $150?
I don't get it.
I don't understand that. How in the hell would he know unless he was in her bank account or whatever, or looking or asking or I don't understand. How can you sit up there and determine what somebody's doing with it? If those kids are taken care of and they have everything they need, and they're not being abused or whatever, and they're well taken care of, then he shouldn't have anything to say about what she does with his little $150. That ain't shit.
But that's just the point. These guys are saying that they know the mother is spending money on herself and not on the kid. Now, the only way you can know that is that you would have to be in the house with her, and you're not doing that. So how do you know? Their whole argument is, well, I'm paying my $150. I don't see anything going on my kid. My kid don't have any new clothes. My kid don't have this and have that. I guess they want their child to have all of these things that they don't want to pay for. They want the baby mama to pay for, right? Mm-hmm. So when they don't see these things, immediately they say that the sister, the baby mama, she's spending the money on herself. She's out with her friends, painting the town red, buying rotisserie chicken, getting her hair done, all kinds of shit. Which I don't understand how she's doing that, or for the $80 or $100 a month that she's getting for him.
Okay, whatever it is he thinks his child needs and getting, he either pay for it himself, keep his receipt showing that he's paying $150 worth of formula, diapers, whatever, the receipts to daycare, whatever it is, to show that he's paying $150 worth this. That's the only thing he can do about that. But he cannot step up to her and make the assumption that she's using $150 on herself.
All right, so he comes to you, right? Say, hey, look, I see you in the club, and the last time I saw you with my child, I didn't see no new Rattler. I didn't see a new baby bottle. I didn't see a new bib. I didn't see a new So what are you doing with the money?
You know what? I would tell him, if you wanted to see all that, we wouldn't have had to go to the child support court or whatever. You could have just bought all that stuff and provided it. Then you would see it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't question, especially if you don't know what other expenses that the mom has.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's my whole thing. Exactly. I don't know how they get this information, but they're online and they're saying that they know that the mother is spending the money on herself. I don't know how they know that, but that's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the person that she might have a job and that he is using her money to pay for these things is out of the question. But she's not
okay,
working.
but here's my problem though, right? If you know all of that, you either live in the house, which you don't, or you done hired some kind of private eye, which takes money. And if you get it for a private eye, then you can pay more money in child support.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But unless the child is obviously neglected, you cannot prove any of these things. Now, the child was hungry, dirty, same one outfit every day. Let me see. And
Man,
then,
this is insane.
mm-hmm.
How do y'all? I don't know how in the world y'all do this. I can't even imagine. You know how y'all find a way to take care of this child and get these things. You got a loser like that who don't want to pay for his own child. I just don't know how y'all do it, man. That's insane. And these talking about some of them are crying. Some of them are trying to fight the bare minimum. They don't even want to pay that. They're on here talking about, I don't want to pay the minimum because she taking the money and she's spending it on herself. So because she's seeing her walking down the street eating the bag of potato chips, she's spending the money on herself. So now he don't even want to pay the bare minimum. How do y'all deal with that, man? How do y'all? I just can't. I can't figure that. I couldn't do it.
I don't know.
Most of the ladies that I know that deal with it, they don't. They just don't think of his money at all. She does what she use what she got to make do, and if it money happened to come through child support, okay, well, whoopee. But for the most part, they do it themselves. They work odd hours to be able to afford to pay for that. Because I know when I was going, over night shift paid more than regular shifts. And I know of a couple of women that specifically work the night shift so they can get the more hours, and then they can be with their children during the day.
Okay, let me ask you this, right? Mm-hmm. Another thing that they say is that the mother is mean and won't give the father a chance to take care of the child. Immediately puts him on child support. So they have this kind of resentment towards black women because they're saying that black women aren't giving them the benefit of the doubt. As soon as they split, she immediately puts them on child support. And so they figure this justifies them. And disrespecting black women and single baby mamas because they feel that they don't get the benefit of the doubt as fathers. And then they also say that the mother won't let them take care of the child. They won't let them do for the child. They won't let them see the child. So how much does that play into all of this? Is this why they're trying to fight the bare minimum? Because they think the baby mama is somehow dictating how they should see their children?
Okay. I think what it is, they're taking an exception and trying to make it the rule. For the most part, the ones that's complaining about paying child support, they're not paying child support like what you're talking about. They never was. And so when they so-called split, the mom immediately has to go on food stamp. And it's usually the food stamp office or Medicaid office or whatever that start child support proceeding. Because I've heard in some states you cannot get past that first month of food stamp until they start the child support proceedings.
So was Max, were you asking about though the incidences of people talking about, well, my baby mama don't let me see my kid, and it's probably because they haven't paid child support in a while?
Right. They're blaming them fighting the bare minimum and don't want to pay the minimum. They're justifying that by saying that baby mama won't let them see the child or won't let them be a father to the child. That's what their justification is for paying such a low child support payment or not paying one at all.
Well, first of all, if the child support payment is decided by the court, she can't keep you from seeing your child. And I mean, I remember me and my ex-husband had talked to an attorney about his baby mama, and she would always have an excuse why he couldn't pick his daughter up. And we talked to the attorney, and I straight up told the baby mama, look, we already talked to her. Whether he's behind or whatever, the attorney said that has no bearing. If there's a child support order and there's like visitation rights, he has the right to it still. So she can't really legally. All he has to do is go to court and say my baby mama is keeping me from my child. Mm-hmm. And that's not no reason to stop paying support, because you're hurting the child more than the mother. Because whatever money you are contributing, you're supposed to be contributing to the child. You're taking that out of the child's mouth for food, whatever. And in the other sense, like I said, whether he's paying or not, in most states you still have the right to see your child unless you locked up for not paying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
the ones that's crying about child support are usually the ones that's not attempting to visit the child, spend time with the child, arrange things, visiting time with the child.
And on top of that, probably not paying child support either. So, that's just excuses. It's a cop-out. Because if you really want to see your child and your baby mama is keeping you from your child, all you do is take her ass to court. Or if you get there and she won't let you see your child, call the police. Say, we got an order. I got visitation rights. I got an order. I'm supposed to be picking my child up, and she's trying to keep my child from me. How come you can't do that?
And another thing that they say, the reason why they don't want to pay child support is because they want the mother to give the child to them.
Bullshit. Mm-hmm. They don't want that child full time. They really don't. Most of them do not. That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I call bullshit on that any day. Mm-hmm. They do not want those children full time. Some of them might want visitations when they get around to it, because it's dads like that. They come around when they decide to get around to it. They don't stick to no schedule, or they got something else to do, so they can't pick the child up. I've had friends like that. That's what their baby dads do. Oh, well, I can't make it. I can't pick them up this week because, they got something else that's more important. And then the mom is the one who has a child the majority of the time. And she just don't complain because maybe she knows he's no good anyway, and maybe don't halfway trust him with her child for a long period of a time anyway. So they see him when they see him, and hopefully he'll be, continuing to pay his child support. But yeah, they don't want them full time. They don't want these kids full time.
But if you let them tell it, the baby mother is the initiator of all this negativity and the reason why they don't want to pay child support. You see, they're basing them not wanting to pay child support off the attitude of the baby mama. She won't let them see the child. She won't let them be a father to the child. She's taking the money. She's going out buying McDonald's, getting her hair done, nails done, buying rotisserie chicken. She's in the club getting drinks. All of these things.
Okay.
So
I'll tell them, well, you go ahead and tell the judge and them that when they get ready to pick your ass up for non-payment of child support, the reason why you ain't paying. Because if you got a child support order, you need to pay. It ain't got nothing to do with her attitude. She could be the wicked witch of the east, north, south, east, and west. It don't matter. If you's paying for your child, you contributing to your child. I don't even see why they wouldn't just go ahead and pay. If you don't want nothing to do with the child, at least go ahead and fucking pay. Okay, most mothers can accept that. Just pay your child support.
All right, so let me get this right. If I heard you guys correctly, what you're saying, and even people in the chat are backing you up, that the baby mama cannot keep him legally from seeing his child. Is that correct?
No, she cannot. She cannot.
So then why are they saying the baby mama is keeping them away from the child? Why are they saying that?
Like I said, that's a cop-out. Either they scared of her or they just don't want to. So, I mean, that's the only two reasons I can think of. They just like a wuss and afraid of her yelling at them. It don't make no difference. I'm here to pick up my son or my daughter. Are they ready? Get their backpack, get their clothes. I ain't got time for you. That's what a real dad would do.
Uh-huh.
I'm here to get my kids. I don't like listening to this bullshit. It makes me mad. I haven't had this stuff happen to me personally, but the same thing went on with my mom and dad for a while. And then we didn't see my dad. He was like, oh, well, your mom always wanted to yell at me when I come over.
Well, it's like I said before on one of my streams called Package Deal, right? It's a package deal. Once a woman has your child, it's a package deal. You don't get to separate the two. It doesn't work that way. If you want your child to grow up healthy in their right state of mind, then you take care of the mother as well. It's very important for your child to see how you treat their mother. Now, you may have some trepidation about her, but that's his or her mother. He or she loves their mother. So it's important that they see you treat their mother with some respect and dignity. You go and start disrespecting her and things like that, and they see that, then they're going to grow up with hatred towards you. Okay? So it's a package deal. You can't take care of one without the other. So I'm not even sure what they're talking about. She's out there buying rotisserie chickens. Well, she would be doing that if you was with her. They act like she's doing something different. Okay, she's going out, having a good time. She's going to get her hair done, going to get her nails done. She may stop at Popeyes, get 2 pieces, whatever. Well, she would do that if you was with her. So I'm not even sure where that's even coming from.
Well, I think it is too. A lot of times they want that woman to be unhappy and down and out because she ain't with them. And it's just some things they need to resolve, some closure they need, psychiatric help or whatever. In my opinion, when it comes to the kids, the parents need to find some way and figure out a way to get along. And as far as that cop out, she won't let me see my child. There's things you can do about that. And like they say, where there's a will, there's a way. You would do anything in your power to see your kids if you really love your kids and want to see your kids, including calling the police on her ass and getting her locked up for defying child support order or visitation right order.
I'm trying to figure out how are you afraid of your baby mama? I don't know.
They punks. They punks.
How are you afraid of your baby mama? You can't go see your child because you're a big scaredy cat. You're afraid of your baby mama. I mean, that I don't black women. I don't know how y'all do it. I know I keep saying this, but I haven't gotten around to do it. I'm going to make a part 2 to I Feel Sorry for the Black Woman Today. There is a part 1 on the channel. Y'all need to check that out. I really feel sorry for y'all. I really do. I mean, my heart goes out to y'all because these groups of Negroes are some of the sorriest Negroes I've ever seen in my whole life. I've never seen black men like these. These are the weak, most cowardly, sorriest Negroes that's ever been in our black society. And you know, and right now y'all got it bad, man. Y'all got a bad hand. Y'all been dealt a bad hand. And I mean, it's like I said before, you basically have no choice. You're picking the best from the worst. You know, I mean, these dudes are sorry. I've never seen anything like this. You know?
Yeah, I've heard all the horror stories. Of course, there's two sides. There's, you know, two sides to every story. And I made that disclaimer. I haven't gone through this stuff personally, but my sisters have. I have friends that have. And I know sometimes they're in the wrong, or it's the guy that's doing wrong. But for your kids, you need to be able to resolve these differences. And it's stupid to try to deprive the child or to say, I'm going to withhold money. So you're going to take food out of your kid's mouth just to spite the mother? So you're really spiting the child. You know, so it makes no sense. I don't know if maybe these guys ain't too bright. That might be it as well. But, and that would show that you really don't care about your kid. You know, because a little $100 a month or $150 a month or whatever, that should be nothing in the grand scheme of things, especially when it comes to your kid. You should be willing to pay whatever it takes. Whatever. So I just don't understand this whining and complaining. I mean, I've been a single mom, or I was for a lot of years. I only got the one child, and, you know, she's grown now. And I'm glad I only had one, because them expenses was hitting hard just for one child. And I still managed to work and, you know, made sure she had somebody to watch her when I was working. And whenever she was interested in something, playing guitar, art, I got her all the stuff she needed. I still managed with no support, nothing but me working. So where there's a will, there's a way. So you can't contribute $150 when the mom is, you know, footing the bill for the majority of the expenses. You're really a sad, sad human being. That's all I got to say about that. Go ahead, Frankie.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes them even mad. They're not contributing anything, but yet the mother is still trying to make do. And in fact, sometimes they do really good. You know, some of them got help, some of them didn't, but they managed to. I've seen one manage to take care of her kids, go to school, work, and all that with no child support from the father. She didn't even do child support on him because it was a waste of time. You know, he didn't do it with the first one. He was sure as heck not going to do it with the second one. And
yeah, I mean, it is sad that women have to go through that. And, you know, I watched my mom for a long time. You know what? I that's why I have so much respect for my mom, man. She was a trooper. Because she would do anything to get those bill paid. I mean, she didn't do anything illegal, or she wasn't on the streets or none of that stuff. My mom was like a trooper. She didn't have, after her and my dad split up, you know, or whatever, they, you know, my parents were married. Like I said, she still had to he didn't make enough to pay for all medical expenses and all that stuff. So they were taking it out of his check, and she was only getting the $50 for 3 kids. So she would work. She worked. She babysat. She cleaned houses. When the bill got real high, like say in the winter, and she needed help with it, she used to go down to the township trustee, and they would have her clean offices there, and then they would pay the bill for her. I mean, she did what she had to do, and still managed to do stuff for 4 kids. She and remember layaway? Shit. We had stuff on layaway for weeks, but we got it eventually. Yeah, so
Yeah, I remember Leo.
hell yeah.
Shit. Let me say this. Every time we talk about this subject, or every time I hear it talked about, right, I keep hearing the same thing, right? Baby mama is doing what she's got to do. She's doing the best she can. She's robbing Peter to pay Paul. She's overturning every rock. She's getting public assistance. She's using wit. She's doing everything that she can do to try to raise this child, take care of this child. I don't never hear about the father doing anything. All I hear about is the father complaining, talking about he don't want to make a child support payment, and then accusing the mother of spending the money on herself. It's the same song every time you turn around, it's the same song. It's always the mother doing everything she possibly can, and the father doing the very least he possibly can to support his own child.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, I just have all those memories. That's why I really appreciate and love my mom. We didn't get along when I was a teenager. Of course, you go through that stuff, but when I look back on all the stuff she did, I'm like, wow. And with 4 kids, I cannot imagine. Shit, we didn't have no name brand stuff, and we'd go to school and people be cracking on us because we ain't got the name brand stuff or nothing, but at least we was clean. We had clothes, we had food, and my mom took care of us. She did everything for us. Matter of fact, she never had a boyfriend or nothing again after her and my dad split up. And that was in 1984. So I'm just saying, nothing.
See, I have a different story. See, I grew up with my father, right? So, I saw black men who were about it. That's what I grew up in. Black men who took care of their responsibilities, black men who raised children that didn't even belong to them. They raised those children like it was no big deal, and raised them as their own because they really had that village mentality back in the 70s, right? But when you fast forward to today, everything is in reverse. It's the mother who's doing everything. Mm-hmm. Like you said, thank God you had your mom, okay, because she pretty much did it all. Even Tupac said in his song, your mama made miracles every Thanksgiving, right? Never said anything about his father. You don't even hear guys talking about their fathers anymore. Back in the day, we talk about our fathers all the time. Right now, my dad did this, my dad did that, my dad built this, my dad did this. These dudes ain't said shit about their pops. Okay, they're always talking about their mamas because it's the mother that's doing everything. That's the problem. The mother is doing too much, and the men aren't doing nearly enough. Nearly enough. Some of them ain't doing anything at all, but playing video games. How the hell are you playing video games, complaining about your child?
I don't know.
You spend more time playing video games, and you wonder why your child don't have anything. Your baby mama's mad as hell. You ain't paying no child support.
You got money for $50 game for
you can buy $50 games. Yeah, hell, $50 games. See, that's the child support payment. That's the bare minimum in some states, right? $50 a week. Hell, you can buy a video game. You can pay $50 a month. I mean, a $50 a week child support payment.
Hey,
so you rather go to the goddamn store and spend that money to buy a bullshit ass game than to give your baby mama that money for your child.
Yeah, I hate to see that kind of thing because that, like I said, I saw it. Like I said, my ex-husband has a daughter, and he was behind in child support payments, so I got him to where he was getting caught up on his child support, and he was started paying it again, and he was one of those, well, I'm not paying because she won't let me see her. So I'm like, you're not paying, but then I would ask him, hey, did you go make your child support payment or whatever? This was back in the day, and he was like, oh, well, I had to do something else. And then I would find like PlayStation games that he don't bought under the damn car, the seat of the car. I'm like, is he serious? You couldn't pay your child support payment. And this is not, he ain't paying me. Why should I care about this woman? Because I know how hard it is when you are a single mother. And, just seeing my mom, how she struggled. And I wouldn't wish that on nobody. We got by, but it's very hard. And I'm like, is he serious? Oh man, I went off on him about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm like, you buying PlayStation games instead of going to pay your child support? Really? He was just doing too much bogus stuff. That's why I had to get rid of him. So I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna last. This ain't gonna last.
Then they have this crazy logic, right? They say, well, listen, I only want to take care of my daughter. I don't want to take care of the mother. Well, how are you going to do that? Because if you just take care of the daughter, then the mother suffers. How you think your daughter's going to feel about you? Mm-hmm. These guys don't understand. It's a package deal. Once you have a child with a woman, it's just a package deal. There is no separation between the two. Yeah. You have to take care of both of them. Mm. And see, these guys ain't ready for no real fatherhood. That's why Black women need to really be careful about the type of dudes that they end up with. These guys, a lot of these guys, they're not built for fatherhood. They're not built for no real fatherhood. Mm-hmm. They're just
well, you know what? Anyway, the way it's supposed to work is any kind of funds or money that the mother receives trickles down to the children and supports the children anyway. So him paying that amount to the mom every month is going to in some way benefit the child, whether it be paying for a utility, paying for gas to get the children back and forth somewhere. It's going to trickle down to the child in some way, shape, or form. So he shouldn't worry about what she's spending it on. And if she's spending the majority of her money or she's the one who's doing everything else, then if she decides to go get her hair done or her nails done because she got your little $60 or whatever, then so be it. You should be worrying about whether your kids are being taken care of, and they're not being abused. They got, a safe place to stay. They got a, good place to sleep, and all that kind of stuff. That's what you should be worrying about. And if they don't have that, then you should be trying to get custody of them. If you think you can do better.
Yeah. If you want to just take care of the kid, then you take the kid.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But that shows that the majority of them do not want that.
No. Yeah. And
they try to say, oh, well, it's a lot of money. It's too expensive, this or that. It's all kinds of excuses. Like I said, if there's a will, there's a way. Because if women can make it work with little to no support, then you can do something if you want to get your child. And especially in light of the fact that most of these dudes on here claim they 6-figure niggas. So,
Yeah. You're supposed to be paying something close to, oh dang it, I gotta look at that page again. Close to, I think it was like about 800 a month. It's probably more than that. I gotta go back to that paper. But yeah, so you shouldn't be crying over. You should have enough to pay for her a little 2-bedroom apartment. Actually, I know a guy who ain't a 6-figure. He's at maybe the low end of the low income, and he paid his baby mama. The house she stays in is his, not his that he stays in, his that he would rent out. So he pretty much taking his money, not taking money rent on a house that he rents, gave it to her, and he paid the utilities. plus the $600 for child support.
Well, that's admirable. That's very admirable.
And he had no problem. His thing was, if there's I wanted a roof over my child's head, so I got to make sure there's a roof over her mother's head. I want her to have light, gas, and electricity. So I got to make sure there's light, gas, and electricity. It said I want to make sure she eats. So I got to make sure her mama eats, and that any necessity things that my child need is done.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I was just laughing to myself because I saw a comment that Pretty Black Magic made, and this is so true. Mm-hmm. She said that this is why we have your mama jokes in the hood, not your daddy jokes, because everybody gonna get offended if you say something about their mama, because they know their mama took care of them no matter what they did, and a lot of people barely saw their daddy or didn't know their daddy, so that's not gonna be offensive. That's a very good point. So I was just chuckling to myself when I saw that, because I'm like, that is so true. You better not say nothing about mama. You can say what you want about daddy. A lot of the times, if nobody really cares, but them fighting words, you say something about mama. So that is so true.
Every athlete in the world be like, be praising their mama. If it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be the man I am today, blah blah blah. And and takes a new twist to the comedian joke about, it's always about mama, it's never about daddy. Well, daddy ain't there.
Well, you know what? Luckily, I didn't know many people back when I was young that didn't even know who their father was. But after, later on, after I was older and stuff, I met people that didn't even know who their father was, because all the people that were in my neighborhood, their mom and daddy might not have been together, but they at least knew their daddy. But it's so sad that a lot of these kids, and a lot of them today, have no relationship with their father and never met them, all that stuff. I find that so heartbreaking. It's like, man, you don't even know.
Or they know him, but they don't really have a bond with him.
Right.
Me, all I got is a name for my father. I don't know what he looked like, or I don't remember what he looked like, because I was very young. I don't have any kind of relation. I don't even know if the man is still alive.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? My older sister, that was like that too. I don't know if something happened between my mom and her dad, but my mom never talked about him. Mm-hmm. And my sister never met him, and it was just like a thing that they didn't talk. I don't know what went on, but she never had any dealings with him. My dad basically adopted my older sister as his child, and took care of her and paid everything for her, all her expenses or whatever. So, but that's what men did back then. That was like in the early 70s. So,
and, and now I'm beginning to think Father's Day should be Grandfather's Day. I know a slew of kids, they don't really know their father. They may see him every once in a while, but the man that's raising them is their grandfather, their mother's father, and stuff like that. So, grandfather, for Father's Day, more often than not, the gifts are going to the grandfather. Just like my Father's Day, my grandfather got a Father's Day gift from me, not just my mom, because my father wasn't there.
Right.
And there's a slew of kids that Father's Day for them is a gift for their grandfather, because that's the father they know. Their mom's father.
So, it's a special thing to me if you actually have a good father in your life. You should cherish that. So, because so many kids grew up without, knowing their father, not, like you said, not having a relationship with their father, and I didn't for a long time after my parents split up. And I let him know about it too, because I was mad at him for a long time. Well, I was mad at my mom too, because I was like, why do you and daddy have to break up? Because I idolized my dad and wanted to be with him all the time. And I let him have it later on. I was like, you should have came and saw us and yada, yada. And I went off on him. I didn't really have a close relationship with him again, till I was grown. Till I started, when I had my daughter, I was pregnant with my daughter. And from then on, we did have a relationship and got back close. But it's a very important relationship to have for kids, both male and female children. And I think I can't say that the lack of having a father is hurtful or more harmful to one or the other. I think it's equally harmful.
Yeah.
And to not be in your kid's life because you think the mother's going to be yelling at you and all that stuff. Because, it makes no sense. You're doing so much harm to your kids. Damn the mother. You should be worried about how this is going to affect your kids later on in life, because it does have a lasting impact. It does. And it might express itself or what do you want to, what's the word I want to use? Or it might show itself in a different way later on. Like we know for boys, they might have questionable sexuality, or they're on the streets, they become, derelict themselves, they get involved with gangs to find some kind of male leadership. We know those things, okay? But with girls as well, girls don't know how to choose a good mate because they never saw the affection and love from their father or a good relationship between their mother and father. So they're having problems, developing a good relationship. Yeah. Or they become promiscuous because they're looking for attention from some man that they never got. Right. So, this really affects kids, and it's just silly. So you're going to harm your kids emotionally and mentally just because you can't get along with the mother? Do that. That just shows me if you don't even think about those things, you really don't care about your children.
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seen the extreme of one guy willing to go to jail. He'd rather go to jail than pay child support. And he's the one that wanted the kid. I was like, how you persuade you to have it? Well, he wanted the kid and I loved him. Okay. Yeah. And then next thing you know, he's claiming that child's not his, or that she's trying to trap him, and the joke is on her because he'd rather go to jail. And sure enough, he went to jail. Dude stayed 2 years in jail for not paying child support.
Well, you know what? I don't know what's wrong with our people where the majority of us, men and women, can't just find that median area, because it's, like you said, it's extreme. Either they go to the extreme and don't pay, or they go to the other extreme and they fucking kidnapping the child. So it's like, man, come on, can't we just get this happy median right here where you just take care of your kid, pay what you have to pay, get along with the parent, with the other parent, or something, just our kids would be so just better emotionally developed, and we wouldn't have a lot of the issues that we have today. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be married, but
yeah,
both of the parents have to have an active role in their child's life. And it's really sad to argue over trifling things like a small amount of child support. Really, even the mother as well. I'm not trying to cape for anybody, but maybe, say maybe a month or so a month he can't pay this, or he has some other expense he had and he couldn't pay. Okay, find to work out some other thing. Don't go off, start withholding, visitation rights and all that stuff, because that child still needs their father. Unless he's a deadbeat, a derelict, or abusive or something to the kids, then stuff like that, is trifling in the grand scheme of things. Don't hurt your kids just to spite the other parent.
Yeah, I've also seen I've seen the positive. I've seen the black men who do pay child support. I've seen them go out of the way, work 2 or 3 jobs, side jobs, extra jobs, bend over backwards, to make sure that the children got. But the bad part is it's not them that's getting their attention. What's getting attention is these idiots, these fools, these thoughtless. They so quick to talk about the seed. They threw the seed, scatter it, and then the surprise when it took root and bloom. And then they want to neglect it, pretend it ain't there, and all that other stuff, or it's too much work, too much effort. I gotta live too. So do your child. Yeah, I've seen a man go homeless because he didn't make enough money. So he was giving up his whole check to pay his child support, to make sure his child got what he needed. And he stayed in a homeless shelter. Went to work, pay his whole check to child support.
Right.
Well, actually, he did it where he didn't even go through child support. The mother never had to put child support on him. In fact, she didn't know he was homeless. He kept that away from her. Something happened and it gave it away. He got sick and she was listed as the emergency contact. Man was working himself to death and he was staying in the homeless shelter. And she didn't know that he was giving up his whole check.
And meanwhile, you got dudes paying what, $40, $50 a week, and they still got Jordans on and buying PlayStation games and all that stuff, and they got men that's barely making it.
Got some gold watch or Rolex.
Yeah.
All the trappings of wealth, instead of just take care of your children. You don't need all that stuff is temporary. Them Jordans are gonna go out of style. There's gonna be a new pair the following year. There's gonna be another game. Shoots, if you wait long enough, the game price will go down. That shows how fast it depreciate.
Like that stuff is important. Those are not necessities. The needs of your child are necessities.
And the children pick up on. They know that. I seen one. His mom never stopped him from visiting the child. He made so many promises to the child. She even talked to him about, look, stop making promises. Stop saying, don't tell them that you come in such and such day. You could just show up. I don't care. I don't care if I'm finna go out on a date. I will stop it if you just say I'm on my way. Pick up my son. We're going to do this. I would drop everything. That's how important. But do you think he took her advice? No, he still, to this day, he got mad because one time he told his child that we're gonna go do this and that. I'm gonna take you with me to Texas, and we're gonna do some work, and we're gonna spend time, and go fishing and all that. His son didn't believe him. His son just went about his day doing everything. Didn't even bother to pack him. So he was was surprised, like 12 o'clock at night, his dad showed up, said, okay, you ready to go? Let's go. He's like, let's go where? Don't you remember? Took it. I said, we're going to Texas. You was for real? He said, I said, you said it before, I have nothing packed. What? You had 2 days. And, and then they ended up having a fight because he was like, you weren't ready. And it's like, well, you never came before. Why all of a sudden now you trying to spend time? That little thing was going on with them.
Well, you know what? And that's the thing. Mm-hmm. A lot of these men want to demonize their baby mamas and single moms in general. And a lot of the times, the baby mom could care less about that $100, $150. They want you to spend time with your child. There's plenty of moms like that. And that's bullshit that they just think that these the women are, you can't be that money hungry if you just want $150, so you really lowballing it right there. So, I mean, a lot of times, a lot of moms just want you to take care of your kid and to be there for them physically and emotionally, that's bull. Mm-hmm. It's not about the money. I could care less. My daughter's dad got killed when she was young, like 4 years old. And, I never got any money from him before that. He just, when I was with him, he was, taking care of her by what he could. But I wouldn't even care about getting anything from him if he was still here with her. I don't care about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And Shooks, and then there's the one where this child's father got a lot of kids, some from his marriage when he was married, other kids from other baby mamas. He's the only boy. The child's father do everything, go out of his way for the daughters. But when it comes to the son get neglected. And one day he said something that kind of depressed me and kind of worried me a little bit. He felt that the only way he would get his father's attention if he was a girl.
Oh.
And that worried me. How many sons think like that, But no, he's not trying to be a girl, but that's how he felt at that moment.
Yeah.
That the only way he could get his father's attention was to be a girl.
I'm telling you, these lack of relationships with these parents will mess these kids up, and people just don't know. The mental harm and the emotional harm is sometimes worse than physical harm. I'm telling you, because you can get over physical harm, you can heal. But that emotional harm and mental harm, that takes a lot to get over that. Or if you even get over it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's a good thing. Well, it's a good thing right now. But he so don't want to be a father or be like his father in the sense that, have a child and neglect it or not take care of it or, he don't want his child that he is not trying to have no kids. He backed away from a girl and broke up with a girlfriend because, he didn't have any condoms. So he said, I don't have any condom. We do this another time. And she was like, oh, that's okay. You don't need a condom. Let's do it. And he froze up. He's like,
he did the right thing.
He did completely different. He said, I can't trust her now. I'll never be able to trust her because sometimes he would use her condom. But it just so happened she didn't have none. He didn't have none. And he's like, I can't trust her. He broke up with her because he couldn't trust her anymore. If she was okay with that, knowing that he did not want to have any kids. He was not ready to have any kids. So I can barely take care of myself, let alone a kid. But yeah, she's encouraging him to do something that could create a child. He was like, He said, I couldn't. I was like, I asked him, so how many them girls? Oh, we know. Whoa, what happened? And he told me what happened. I was like, I'm so surprised you listened. He said, I was listening. And stuff like that. Because
that's good for him that he's that self-aware though, because you don't if he hasn't healed emotionally yet, then of course he doesn't need to get into that kind of situation. He might think differently later on once he's come to terms with his relationship with his father or whatever, maybe spoke to somebody or whatever, but he did the right thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I did too, but I was surprised. And his own cousin was thinking he was crazy. You turned down sex?
And it ain't that important, shit.
It ain't that,
he knows what it leads to.
He said, I could always get another girlfriend.
And exactly, he was right.
It was like, and you know what? The cousin who thought he was crazy is the one with 3 kids. 3 kids. And he's busting his behind trying to take care of them. I think I lost track. He might be up to 4 or 5 now. I gotta talk to his mom. But yeah, that's like, what? What you mean? You know, I found out about the first one. When I found out about the first one, the second was on the way. When I found out about the second one, the third one's on the way. So when I found out about the third one, I'm thinking if he's sticking to the pattern, there should be a 4th and maybe a 5th one by now. But in the one that I'm close to, he's too afraid not to wear a condom. He's like, I said, he said he's afraid that he's gonna like it too much, and then he won't be able to put a condom back on. So he said, I'd rather not know.
Oh, well, good for him. Maybe that's at least a good. If he that's his rationale for it, let him keep that.
So when grown men is acting like they need to be told to put a condom on every time, it's like, didn't you get the lessons? Didn't you get the lessons I told this child, which was told to me, which was told to my uncles and stuff like that? If you're not planning on having no kids, get married, have kids, or have kids, you wear a condom all the time, every time. You know, don't care what kind of birth control she supposedly has.
Yeah, and to take it further, if you've heard all the quote unquote horror stories of having kids with women that you don't want to be with, why would you risk it?
I know.
So, you know, you hear all these other dudes whining and complaining about what they have to pay, and my baby mama this and this baby mama that, and my 2 baby mamas crazy and all this stuff. Why would you put yourself in that same situation? So then you should be more diligent in making sure that you have protection. Don't leave it up to her or whatever. You know, so I mean, it just makes no sense. The way they rationalize things about it should be the woman's responsibility. No, if you are so determined not to be in that situation, then you need to make it your responsibility.
Yeah. And there are men who I've spoken to a few of them that they wear a condom. They wear a condom to this day. You know, I know one that's 40 years old. He's still wearing condoms.
Just religiously, huh?
He said, I'm not ready to have no kids. He said, I ain't found the right woman yet to have kids with. I was like, you're getting older. He said, hey, I can have kids in my 100s. I said, well, what about the knee theories? You know, that the knees go, let me see how he put it. How this other person put it. He said the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
There's a biological clock for men, not in the sense that siren children is being able to keep up and raise the child. He said, I don't want to be the old man trying to keep up with a child and stuff like that. He said,
he's actually thinking the right way, though. That's the proper way to think about things. I'm not ready, so I'm going to wrap it up. I don't care how old you are. Even if you already have kids and you figure, hey, I don't want any more, I'm going to make sure I don't make none. I mean, that's like the proper way to think of things.
That's what I think with 2 of my cousins. They said, no more kids. I said, "Oh, okay, good. You're gonna be wearing condoms." I don't like wearing condoms. That's probably why they got so many kids.
Exactly.
I said,
The direct correlation.
I said, "You going? Oh, I said, so you're gonna go the vasectomy route?" And you act like I offered to murder them. No. And one of them actually said, "I might want to have more kids." What? Wait. You just said you didn't want to have no more kids, but you don't want to wear a condom. Vasectomy makes sense to me and stuff like that. And they stopped talking to me. Say, I can understand guys are squeamish about something like that, but dang it, I said, well, how you expect not to have any kids? I said, okay, I expect to hear about the new baby a year from now. He's like, one of them going, my pull-out game is on point. I was like, obviously not. You up to 5 kids.
Well, just like I don't know, fool in the chat just said, that still doesn't protect you from STDs. You can still get something. How are they avoiding that?
Oh, well, one of them, I know he just goes get checked and go get shots for whatever he might have caught.
Oh, my God.
I don't know how the other one is doing.
Oh, Lord. You're supposed to be proactive, not freaking retroactive. That's just disgusting.
I know. I said, I don't see how the women deal with you. I said, you must be dealing with a bunch of women with low self-esteem. I couldn't put up with the stuff y'all be doing.
Ugh. Wow.
But he was giving me warnings on what guys do. He's the one that told me about ripping off the tip of the condom. He's the one that told me about sliding it back off just before he goes in. I was like, oh. I said, okay.
And then they have the nerve to sit up there and wonder why. Oh, I don't know how she got pregnant. Like, if you don't shut up. They doing all these little sneaky tricks and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh my goodness. Well,
wow.
I said, oh my goodness, you're gonna be 50 with another baby. Oh no. I said, mm-hmm. But I think the last one, the last one, she enforces that the common thing. She don't trust him. I remember he was fussing at me for giving his girl ideas. I said, what you do is you slide it on and you hop on before he can do anything.
Okay. So as far as the the expenses for children, I was wondering if anybody else in the chat might had any other kind of like odd expenses that came up with their kids that could be factored in as well, because each child is different, each situation is different. I wonder if anybody has something strange that occurred that you wouldn't necessarily be prepared for. Well, there's other things. I could think of like medical expenses. What if your kid has some kind of strange medical condition, or they're allergic to stuff and they have to get EpiPens and all that stuff? That's another thing too. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, food allergies.
Mm-hmm. And then there's a friend of mine. They're not quite sure what she's allergic to, but they know she has a very severe allergic reaction to something. So she has to carry EpiPen around with her in case she encounters something that triggers an I can't pronounce it quite right. Anaphylactic shock.
Hey, Auntie. Auntie just came in the chat.
Hey, Auntie.
Yeah.
There's this girl I was bringing to doctor. Her child, he was born with his intestines kind of twisted. So yeah, and he had to first have special medicine that kept the untwist naturally. They was trying to avoid surgery. That helped a little bit, but then they found further down the line that there was another twist somewhere else. But he had to be on a special formula. When I say $25 a can, I'm serious. $25 a can, and this is the cheapest one of that type that they could find. And yeah, and she gotta be careful if he cries too much, because he'll stop breathing, or he'll choke himself.
Wow.
So he's a little spoiled in the sense that they don't let him cry too much because she's afraid of that happening. I said, you do know he's aware of that, right? I know he's a baby, but there's a certain awareness about him that makes me think he knows. He don't like it, but if he wants to get his point across, he will do it.
And you said he'll like stop breathing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he'll choke himself and stop breathing. It's some weird thing going on with him.
I think they used to call it bradycardia. You know, and then, you know, things like that, the way women survive, and they own states assistance. Some of you have to get that stuff. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pay for even having a child. You know, I know having like Medicaid and stuff, that stuff is a lifesaver. Who can pay all those medical bills? Who can pay all that? And my daughter, man, I had it at that time. But you know, after I got a better job and stuff, I didn't have all that assistance. But I went for when she was born. Oh yeah, I made sure I had that. Because she was early. My daughter was born 3 pounds and 2 ounces. She was in the hospital in the newborn intensive care unit for like 5.5 weeks. So man, I would have been still paying to this day for her medical expenses. And everything else if I did not have that, you know, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. I didn't have it the whole time, you know, but I had that for, you know, when she was a baby, because I needed that. And so we make a way and we make do and we get the assistance we need. What are we just supposed to go without and hope somebody just helps us? Or, you know, no, you can't do that as a parent, especially you're a custodial parent and you have the main responsibility of taking care of the children. You have to make it happen.
Yeah. Okay, ladies, there's the link in the chat if y'all want to come up and say it instead of writing it. Let me see.
Well, I would like to hear if anybody had any weird expenses or unexpected expenses that they never could have imagined having with a child. Because we have all the normal stuff. That was an unexpected one for me that I just mentioned. You know, I didn't expect to have a kid born that early because she was like 8 weeks early, and you know, just a lot of stress and things and all that kind of stuff. Worrying, and but like I said, luckily I was able to get that, and because I wouldn't have been able to pay for that, and she turned out okay and was healthy and all that stuff. But wow, I mean, it's a lot of things like that happen. And think about if you didn't have some kind of assistance or actually were making enough money or having a father contributing. Think about what you go through on your own. It's really crazy.
Yeah, or the natural disaster. We had flooding. It's 3 years. 3 years ago, and they had to replace all the baby furniture, the bulk of the baby clothes. Oh, you can forget the diapers.
Oh,
you know, because they had stocks of diapers, but the bulk of it was on the floor of their closet. So when they flooded, them diapers just went. The only ones they had was the ones that was on the top shelf. all the extras that they had that was from a baby shower, gifts from people, all that was gone. They were set for diapers for a long while, and now they had to start all over again. They had to replace the baby's crib, because mold had taken over in their house.
Oh wow!
While they were out, while they had to be evacuated.
Well, I didn't consider natural disasters. Yeah, that occurs too, but like Black Beauty says in the chat, her daughter has scoliosis. So I know, is this special treatments or whatever she has to do for that? Those are not foreseeable expenses. Mm-hmm. And with children, there usually are expenses that are not foreseeable. They might be different and varying expenses, but they are not foreseeable. And another thing I was thinking about is, like if you're a kid, like a lot of times you have to get, one thing I forgot too, damn it, what is it? The name of the kind of thing, the machine. Like, so if they have like trouble breathing or have like kind of like signs of humidifiers, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Special breathing treatments or something. Like I know kids have that. Or what about the kids that have like ear infections all the time and maybe have to go get those kind of thing, drains or stuff put in their ears? Mm-hmm. A lot of that stuff, all this stuff is, it's just things that you can't prepare for.
And I had a baby cousin. She would get pneumonia every year. We thought it was seasonal because it was mostly during the spring, or it was mostly during the fall. But sometimes it'll come at her any part of the year, and that was hard to see. She's an adult now, but recently, not too well, before the coronavirus, like a year before that, she got pneumonia. She hadn't had pneumonia in years. She had forgotten what the symptoms were about. We thought she grew out of it. Well, she was working too much, working too hard, trying to do too much, working a night shift, get the stress of getting a new house and getting that all in order, and discovering this problem with the house and having to postpone moving in. It lowered her resistance and she caught pneumonia. Girl was walking around with pneumonia. It wasn't until she just collapsed on them, scared the people at her job. They rushed her to the emergency room, pneumonia. She's been walking around with pneumonia for months.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, but the long and short of it, is that taking care of children, that was just like that chart or that spreadsheet that was shown, that was just for first year, lower end estimate for expenses, wasn't including everything. But it's very expensive taking care of children, and somebody doing it on their own can't possibly do it with some kind of help or assistance. So if they're not getting any, then imagine how much that child can possibly suffer. So all this complaints about, I want to see what my kid is getting. If you want to see what your kid is getting, then you need to get it for them. If you want to see all that stuff. And I'm just really sick of hearing about this. Why would you complain about supporting your child anyway? Why? No amount of money should be too much when it comes to your kids. Mm. No amount.
Yeah.
But I mean, the things that I was searching, it was very enlightening, and I wasn't too familiar with because I couldn't remember about the formula and all that stuff because it's been so long for me. But And I was like, really, that much? And people were like, oh, well, sometimes my kid uses more than that. And so, and every kid is different, has their own needs and wants. And you got to take into account too the fact that, like I said, why your kid got to go into school and, you know, they start getting older and they don't have the name brand stuff. They got to have little store brand stuff and be made fun of and be embarrassed. That hurts a kid's self-esteem too.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to get them certain things for that purpose, you know, alone. You know, them little boys want to go play basketball. They want some little new Nikes and stuff like that, like their friends got. Why? And you get it for them if you can. I don't see nothing wrong with that. So you can't be going cheapo, paying $65 a month and then complaining about what a child is or is not wearing or what the mama is doing, because you're not really contributing that much. Long story short.
Okay, I see Ayo Kish. She said, no doubt my son came out with a dislocated shoulder. Man, I understand. Even though I think the nurse dropped him, he's 23 now. Let's see. Black Beauty said my 13-year-old daughter had to wear a back brace 10 hours a night.
Wow.
And I don't know who said my son inhaled fluid during his birth, so he had it in his lungs and had a hole in his heart, along with losing weight rapidly. I didn't see any of that coming.
No, you wouldn't. So all these different situations would require, you know, medical implements like back braces, special maybe medications or treatments these children have to go through. They might even have to have special clothing, any kind of thing. So none of this stuff is factored into the expenses, you know, the normal expenses for a child, because those are not foreseeable. Oh my gosh. And somebody want to complain about some little funky ass $100 or $150 a month. That's nothing. That's peanuts. Nothing.
Yeah.
What can they buy off that list with $150 for the month?
I know men who would be embarrassed to even say that they only pay $150 a month. They wouldn't even admit to that. No.
Man.
And I know one who had to just pay that, because the way his job is, for 6 months out of the year he's working fine, and then 6 months he was out of it, and so there'd always be a break between him and extra job or his side jobs. So at one point, you know, a few times he had to pay $150. He got behind on the child support, but he would make it back up as soon as he was back working, or as soon as he got he got his side job lined up. So yeah, and he would always have a little back child support. But as I said, as soon as he possibly could, he made up for it, and it would be all straightened out.
Yeah.
And in fact, the one time, because he was married to his ex, when they broke, that was the agreement that they had. Well, she's listening to somebody, which shows that people don't know everything. You know, okay, because that one time it was longer than 6 months of him not having, he wasn't having any luck working. She decided to file child support on him. Okay, so when he came with the records, because he had a whole bunch of little jobs, so he was paying direct. So when she said, or he said, or the child said, I want this, or I need this. She said he came and paid it. He came and paid it direct. But the woman never noticed he always kept the receipts. So when it said he ain't been paying child support for 6 months and he come with receipts of all that he had been paying, they according to them, he was paying too much for child support. According to them, he was supposed to be paying this amount, and it was reduced. This was what it was the amount should have been by the way he was working, by his income. But
she was doing better, not even filing for child support. She was getting, yeah.
Same thing with the guy I said earlier who gave up his rent house to give that the use of his baby mama and his child and her child, and plus child support of $600 a month and the utilities. They didn't have to pay rent or utilities. One thing she had to pay for was cable and some of the food, because he wouldn't know how much she would need for food. He assumed whatever she was using out of the $600 was enough. He didn't care, as long as the child was fed, clothed, clean, stuff like that. And he got the visitor according to their schedule, his parents' schedule, because he had factored in everything: his visitation time, his parents' visitation time. So and plus he would include her child in, because that child plus his child wasn't going to understand why her sister couldn't come and stuff like that. And they included all that,
Yeah. And that's how it should be considered.
He made that arrangement almost as soon as she was pregnant. He was paying for everything from the moment she was pregnant and stuff like that. And it just carried on. Once they were broken up, when they broke up, he said, "This is what I'm going to pay." He said, "You can stay in this house. I'm going to move and stuff like that. You won't have to pay rent. Long as you live here, you won't have to pay utilities. I'm handling the utilities." And this is what I think should be paid a month, according to my calculations of from paying all the bills. This is what and if you need anything more than that 600, tell me what it is, and I'll handle it. I'll make sure she gets it. And yeah. So he was paying more than what at that time the Louisiana for his income said that he was supposed to be paying. And that's just him paying the $600 a month. They don't include that he gave up a rent house to her and his child, and the income he could have been getting for renting that house.
Right.
They didn't include that. Then there's the extras, Christmas stuff. There's her child. He spent money on her child too. Yeah. Her child wasn't getting like $600 a month, but if her child that she had before him, that's not his. If that child needed something, he provided that too. Child wanted a toy or a birthday present or whatever. He took care of it, or whatever was going on. It's like, well, that's my child's sibling. That was the way his mindset was.
Well, that's old school right there. That's a good dude. Because
some of his friends think he's crazy, and even his brother thought he was crazy until his brother became a father. Then he was following his brother pattern. Except the only thing was he didn't have a rent house. He just paid half his baby's mama's rent. Found out how much the rent was. Pay half the rent. He paid the electric on the utilities, plus $600 that he gave her for whatever the child needed. And that was his way of dealing with it. He wasn't his brother. but he didn't necessarily do well. His mindset was her children or her children, that don't have anything to do with his, but he found that over the time he couldn't not do. So he would end up doing a little something, or what he would get for his child, he would get for her siblings, or get them something too. Or whenever he come to pick up his child to spend time, if she wanted her siblings, they were coming too. If the mama was cool with it and their daddy was cool with it, yeah, they came over.
Well, shout out to the men that can do that and that are that mentally and emotionally mature and securing themselves enough to take care of somebody else's child as well, because it's all about the children at the end of the day. And this is a really great discussion. I hope everybody enjoyed it, but I got to get going. I really enjoyed Ladies Night tonight, and I really am glad to see that so many people stopped through.
Yes, I am glad too. Oh, Remy, you made it. It just about to leave out. Nice having to talk with you. I don't know who, and of course, pretty Black Magic, Ayo, Keisha. Okay, I'm going to get that straight eventually. Black Beauty, thanks for coming. Manuel Briggs, as always, enjoy your chats too. Let's see. Oh, Auntie, I wish we could have had more time with you. I know you would have had a lot to say on this subject. And let's see, who else? Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody. And Belle, thanks for helping me out. I was stuttering over there, but we had a great night.
You did. It was a good discussion.
Oh yes, but I think we might need to continue on if they because this is just for the first year. From what I read, it goes up each year of the child, because as they get older, they need more.
Yeah, there's varied and different types of expenses, depending on the age of the child. They start getting into school. That's a whole other animal right there.
That's a whole other animal.
That's a whole nother animal.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on, and I had a great time as usual. And I'm gonna be out. Have a good night, you guys, or good morning.
All right, everybody. Peace, power, and unity. We'll see you next Saturday. And here we go.